Panther people, what up? We're going to break down how the Panthers defense broke down, but do you really blame them against the Los Angeles Rams? What's going on? You're watching Panthers Post with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. Well, your Carolina Panthers have the worst winning percentage in the National Football League. They lose to the Rams at SoFi Stadium 24-10. Are you really that surprised? Couple notes. I normally try to rock the jersey that they wore on game day, but I realized they're wearing nothing but the white kit, and I don't know why until now. That's because they are waving the white flag on the season. It's not dead. They're not wearing black. It's not happy times, so they're not wearing blue, but they're waving the white flag that, hey, I know the reports are coming out. We're not doing a fire sale, but we are white hot bad, and we are done. Also rocking the Christian McCaffrey jersey because, well, I'm counting the days now. It's almost the end of October, and we have about just over 2.5 weeks left in this month. Trade deadline is November 1st, and the rumors are hot and heavy, really only about the Carolina Panthers right now and the guys they have on this team. And Christian McCaffrey is the prize pony that is up for grabs, and I have a feeling he will not be a Panther by November 2nd. I really think that, and so I'm just wearing this jersey while I can in these colors before he swaps it for Buffalo Bills red, white, and blue. So just kind of overarching thought on this game. It kind of reminds me of when Cam Newton was brought in because Sam Darnold was just so bad. They brought Cam Newton in. Everyone was having a great time. Maybe not to the magnitude of right now, but people were celebrating Matt Rule's firing as if Cam Newton was back, as if they had won a playoff game. You got all the feel-good stuff that you can imagine. You got a coach in Steve Wilkes rocking the Jordans. It's a completely different dude than Matt Rule in terms of professionalism, to the pointness, not making pop culture references, just a no-nonsense guy. We're going to get to that a little bit later. He let go of Phil Snow in his college defense. He let go of anyone who was somewhat connected with Matt Rule from the Temple and Baylor days. And so we thought, hey, this is going to be great. P.J. Walker, he's a mobile quarterback, way more mobile than Baker and Sam Darnold right now. And, they're going to make things click. They're going to get that, that coach bump that normally happens when there's a new head coach, especially one that's from the hometown. We said, he's going to get a little legitimate shot. He's the grown-up in the room. That's going to happen. Everyone's feeling great. And then, then they actually have to play football. Remember that. And, Steve Wilkes isn't the one tackling. He's not the one throwing passes. He's not the one catching passes. Not the one fumbling passes. So those good feelings are gone, unfortunately, and that's just the way I feel. Just the same way that Cam Newton, the good feelings are gone. It felt great when he came in, did what he did against Arizona, and then things just kind of crashed and burned when he came home against Washington, and then really crashed and burned against the Miami Dolphins. And so it's not Steve Wilkes' fault. It's just not. The second I read that J.C. Horn is out with a rib injury, the ribs. Ever heard of a flak jacket? Like, they're not busted. Frankie Luvu's out again. That's what I knew. And then it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So you had Jeremy Chin out, you had J.C. Horn out, and you had Frankie Luvu out. 3 of your multiple young defensive stars not playing in this game. So that suddenly frees up Cooper Kupp. And then as we saw later, it frees up guys like Robinson who have a mismatch because we don't have our best cornerback on Cooper Kupp. We have our second best cornerback, and then you have our third best cornerback on their second best receiver. Cooper Kupp, receiving yards, he had 80 yards receiving, no touchdowns, but Allen Robinson, 63 yards and 1 touchdown, probably his best game of the year so far for him. Panthers run defense has been improving since week 1. Darrell Henderson, 43 yards rushing. But when I saw that the defensive studs aren't available, what are you supposed to do? If the offense we already know is anemic, and then you expect the defense that's now missing 3 of their stars. Really, you had Derek Brown, and you had Brian Burns, and you had Dante Jackson, who had the pick 6. But really, imagine the defense at its full capacity, full arsenal, then maybe it could have been a bit of a tighter game. Maybe challenge Matt Stafford a little bit more. But really, for the Rams, it didn't look like that much of a struggle, really. You did see that coaching bump in the first half. You did, especially after that pick 6. You were like, oh, can the Panthers actually pull this off? Full disclosure, I picked the Panthers to cover the spread. They did not, but I thought they would fight hard because that's what we were talking about, right? I said that in the last episode. Even if they don't win, if they fight, and just make it tight for the other team, make their butts a little tight heading into the fourth quarter, then okay. But when you hamper the defense, which is the strength, obviously the defense is the offense. They're the ones scoring touchdowns, and you take key pieces away. Like Keith Taylor gets hurt, all right. The McCall cat, he gets hurt. Okay, but you're talking about like the name brands of the team that aren't playing. What do you expect them to do if they're supposed to be the ones carrying the team when they're losing 3 out of their 4 legs? Come on. As for the offense, Jacob Eason, who came in for relief of PJ Walker, who was put into the blue tent with a concussion, had 1 less passing yard than PJ Walker. I talked about at halftime on the YouTube short that, the PJ picks aren't happening. That's a good thing. He is not losing the game for the Panthers, but he's not winning the game. Like 60 yards passing? I got to check that right. Yeah, 60 yards passing. 13 for 16. They clearly know what they were dealing with. For you guys who don't understand this, they drafted Matt Corral to replace PJ Walker. They kept PJ Walker on the team because Matt Corral's out for the injury for the rest of the year. PJ Walker's not supposed to be on the team. He's not supposed to be on the team. So they don't, and there's a reason for that. They don't want him to make a mistake. So he was dinking and dunking, which was kind of nice because those are things that Baker Mayfield wasn't able to do without things getting battered. So that was kind of a silver lining. But he's not pushing it downfield. He wasn't doing the gunslinger stuff we thought maybe he would be, but they were just trying to have PJ not lose them the game. And then guys like Christian McCaffrey did step up. Christian McCaffrey, 69 yards rushing, 89 yards receiving. Nice pitch and catch with him and Jacob Eason later on in the game when it was too far gone. But, they were letting the skill players do what they do, but, he wasn't trying to win. He couldn't win them the game. And the skill players, DJ Moore is just, he's just unable to make things happen. And, he is trade rumors right now, but he is not elevating anybody. 7 receiving yards, 3 receptions. Targeted 7 times, caught 3 times. I don't know if they're poor passes or not. Jonte Foreman, 5 rushes. Like, the offensive coordinator is the same. I don't know what the difference is between, having Matt Rule as head coach and Steve Wilkes. Like, hey, we should use Deontay Foreman more. But he's a waste. He may as well not be on the team. But yeah, PJ Walker, he is who we say he was. He is not the answer. Anyone who ever thought he was going to be the answer is wild. Sure, he's a very nice guy. He hasn't lost ever when he started the game in the XFL and against the Detroit Lions. They had Sam Darnold practicing before the game, so he could be starting next week. Baker Mayfield could be available next week as well, but he was not in today, not even dressed because he wasn't practicing. And so, next week it's going to be, toss, flip the coin. If PJ is still in concussion protocol because he was in the blue tent. So is it Sam or Baker? Maybe we're going to have that competition again, see how practice is. Or are we going to see Jacob Eason in there against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, by the way, I think they lost. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just lost to the Steelers in Pittsburgh. And then they go on the road to Charlotte to take on the Panthers. And it seems like the Panthers are going to be that get-right team. Because people are talking about the Rams like, ooh, what's going on with the Rams? They can't find the offense. What's wrong with Matt Stafford? He's busted. He's washed. I'll just take on the Panthers. And he scored 24 points out of nowhere. They're going to be 1-6. His fault, but just what's happening on the field, I'm not seeing that intensity throughout the fourth quarter. Maybe in the first half, but in the fourth quarter, it's just not there. So that's what we want to see, and it's just not happening, unfortunately. That coach bump lasted a half. Get a new head coach, offensive-minded head coach, Byron Leftwich. I think he would look dope in Panthers colors. I think he'd look dope with the Panthers snapback. That's as much as my analytic mind goes right now. With a rookie quarterback that is pro-ready, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, not a project like Anthony Richardson, I think this team could have a pretty quick turnaround, kind of like the New York Giants right now. I really do feel that. But if you want to really talk about getting draft capital, obviously you guys probably seen it. You probably seen my shorts, also on Twitter. Ian Rappaport, everybody, Adam Schefter, Jonathan Jones, all these guys are saying, the Panthers are openly shopping Christian McCaffrey, and they are turning anybody away who's not blowing him away. They've already turned away 2 teams, and they want multiple picks, high draft picks, or multiple firsts, or multiple picks. It's not going to happen for a running back like that. You saw that he had over 100 yards total from scrimmage. Still didn't win the game. Still didn't get a touchdown, right? So I don't know how you sell a team to give up a first and other picks or a player for him. Maybe a second and third, or a second or a third and a player that could fill in his spot. People putting in Cook out of Buffalo. I wouldn't mind that at all. Younger, cheaper, faster, stronger, more durable. I'm okay with that. I'd be okay with it because you need more picks. Because if they do somehow string some wins together, you're going to have to pile some picks up to try to move up in the draft to try to get the quarterback that you want, the quarterback that you desperately need, and the quarterback you've been avoiding the last couple of years, besides Matt Corral. But like I said, again, if you're an offensive-minded coach or you're a hotshot offensive coordinator coming with a defensive-minded head coach, you're not going to put your hat on a third round quarterback. You're just not. Oh yeah, and also Robbie Anderson on the trade market, and I feel like the Panthers might trade him for money, straight up money, because he was mouthing off with the wide receiver coach. Steve Wilkes got hurt. Of what the hell is going on? Kicked him out. He's like, go to the fucking showers. Bye. You're doing nothing right now. Get out of my house. And so we knew Steve Wilkes is no nonsense, and he wasn't dealing with that. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if Robbie Anderson was a member of the Green Bay Packers or the Baltimore Ravens for a bag of chips and maybe like $25 scratch cards, something like that, because they don't want him on the team. I could already sense that. And I know it's a heat of the moment in the game, but I just think for the sake of Steve Wilkes and him trying to get his message across, you're mouthing off with the wide receivers coach and all that, bye. You're out of here. Especially if you're not contributing, see ya. How do you feel about the game? How do you feel about this roster? How do you feel about Steve Wilkes? And how are you feeling about watching college football? Because I watch Alabama, Tennessee. I take a lot of stuff back when I said about Bryce Young and his lack of size. He can move in the pocket, and he's cold-blooded, and he's got ice in his veins, and I kind of dig it. It'd be very exciting. Holy shit. Especially if he stays in the South. My God. All right, let me know. See you guys midweek.